Welcome back, everyone, to the league that means nothing free. We are in round 2. It continues to mean nothing, but hey, might mean something to some of these players. I am your voice of the league, and today we have a matchup between Sophia Romao on Kano versus former league finalist Chris Chalk on Enigma. Sophia, no stranger to Kano, blew up her opponent in the last round of the league, and also a winner of the Rainbow Pitch League. Chris, finalist, very well established illusionist player, loves him some illusionist, and he is playing titanium baubles this season. So let's see how this goes. Traditionally, a game that is kind of Enigma favored, but can be quite complicated depending on how good the Kano player is. But at the same time, Kano has to wade through a ton of Ward. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes. And with that, I'm going to throw it over to the gameplay and we'll see how we get on.
The League That Means Nothing Season 3 is brought to you in part by Green Tree Sports Cards out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's right, the Yinzers have shown up en masse to support this league that means absolutely nothing. Make sure you go and check them out at greentreesc.tcgplayerpro.com for a variety of TCG events and singles and product, including this favourite card game of ours, Flesh and Blood trading card game, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic. These guys are also the ones behind Camp Green Tree as well, so make sure you go and check them out on all the socials and keep up to date with some more amazing events coming down the line. We'll see you soon. Let's get back to the tournament.
Okay, it looks like we have Sophia first, activating Kano, banishing an Ether Quickening, and then we're going to send in that Ether Quickening. I imagine that's just going to be followed up with either a Waning Moon or a card from that. Chris pitching a blue there, covering 3, taking a point of damage. Chris running AB3 here in the form of Crown of Reflection, Calming Gesture, Null Rune Boots, and then Sophia just going to play a Tunic, or play Energy Potion. Surprised not to see the Waning Moon, but probably just doesn't want to allow Chris to filter any more cards because the 2 arcane damage is never going to get through. So let's see what we get from our Enigma players first turn, or if we have any actions post action point. Doesn't look like it. Simply going to draw up. Sorry, it is very early on a Christmas Eve morning here for me. Apologies for the yawn. We have our first Tunic counter. Always good when they don't miss the Tunic counters. Especially relevant in a game against Kano, which, well, you kind of need every resource you're going to get your hands on, you know? And Chris going to send in a Levels of Enlightenment, pitching a Spears of Surreality. So it's going to be... I wonder if we're going to see a Transcend as well. No, we're just going to see this come in for 3 go-against. A block with an Ether Arc. Chris closing the combat chain. I'm playing a Phase Bending. Now this is a critical piece of tech into Kano because it means that when they blow up your auras with Ward, you will always get that extra piece. You'll get a Spectral Shield on the back end, which can be so powerful, especially with a card like Iris of Reality. And Sophia pitching another Ether Arc to send in a Ether Flare. So this is coming in for 3. Any damage that is dealt by it gets added onto the next spell. I can definitely see Chris pitching to this one anyway. Because really, by preventing 3 damage here, you're preventing 6 damage. Yeah, pitching a Passing Mirage, blanking 3 damage. The one problem with Kano in this scenario is with Waning Moon. It's kind of a necessary evil against Illusionist, but without something like Crucible of Aetherwave, it's very hard to force through the extra points of damage. We've got a Kano activation now. Sophia deciding whether or not she's going to resolve it. Because you can always just leave that card on top. But it does look like it was banished, and we're going to send in another Ether Quickening, another 4 points of damage here. And Chris just elected to take the Waiting Moon and take the Ether Quickening. And really, this is what this game is going to be about for Sophia, is getting in that chip shot damage, making sure that Chris's life total is relatively low for when gets a chance to combo, so that even if your Wildfire gets mostly blank, you still have quite a bit to throw. Pitching a blue pummel to send in a Phantasmaplasm. Now, this is not ideal here for Sophia. We have an Emeritus Scolding, a Kindle, and Double Blazing. Chris sending that blue to the bottom. And now we have 9 coming in. And Sophia rips the one of Nourishing Emptiness off the top. That not much you can do about that. You know? That is just how it is. You ain't got much choice in that matter, because we have no Phantasmal Footsteps or anything to cope with the destruction, the Phantasm effect. And now we have a pitch of a blazing, and use of Tunic to activate Kano. I believe that's an Open the Floodgates on top. And is Sophia she's just going to leave that one in Banish so that it is not a problem going forward. And we're going to draw. Now, start of Chris's turn. First time he's managed to keep a full hand. Let's see how we go. Now we know that that last popper is gone. We're not going to worry too much about having Phantasm anymore. Now we're going to send in 4 go again, thanks to Iris of Reality attacking with the Aura. And we get a block of 3. So we have our first damage dealt to Kano this game. Sophia has so far done an excellent job of keeping her life total very high. Activating Tunic to gain a resource, pitching a Phantasmaplasm, and just sending in a Command and Conquer. So we're going to activate Kano, banishing a Pop the Bubble, which, if it deals more damage, and open Aura. And then we're going to Kindle and Big One. Represented by those Verdant's feet for some reason, I assume. Red Gamer's weird. And we're going to come in then with Ether Spindle. We're going to play another Kindle amping again. So this is going to be for 6 and up equal to the amount of damage dealt. And Sophia is still left with a card. Looks like Chris is just taking 3 of that damage. We're getting it up to 3. Something so powerful in Kano, a deck where you can play off the top, knowing what's on top of your deck. Or knowing that you're going to be drawing the blues that you need to play out your turn. So we have at least to the bottom there. The others on top. And then we're going to send in this Pop the Bubble for a point of damage. It's a blue Pop the Bubble, so there was no point in amping it. It would have not gotten anything. Then we're going to follow up with a Waning Moon for 3. Just chip-shotting away. Yeah. Obviously, it looks like Sophia's taking quite a number of points of damage here, but really, Kano's life total is irrelevant because once you're at 1, you can still detonate your opponent from out of nowhere. Sophia just taking up her tunic, passing through her turn, obviously saying if Chris has any interactions on her turn to go for it. Let's see what we lead with from Chris. Going to lead with Spears of Surreality. So this is going to be 5 go again. Leave us with 2 resources voting. Pretty good rate. 1 for 5 go again. With Phantasm being the downside, which is only a downside if your opponent has 6 power attacks. Otherwise, it's just 5 go again. Got a block of 3 here, taking 2 points of damage. Very curious what that arsenal is for Chris. He seems to have been looking at it quite a bit. And here we have levels of enlightenment. What modes are being chosen? 3 go again. We're just going wide here. Not a lot of transcending going on, but just presenting damage. And then finishing up with a Miraging Metamorph for 7. Pretty solid turn off 3 resources, sending 15. Not too bad. And Sophia just saying, yeah, send me the bill. I'll go to 11. What is going to happen here? So I imagine we're going to see some amount of setting up from Sophia. Like a chip shot or 2 and maybe an arsenal to set up for a big combo turn. Because really at 26 health, you are not overly safe. Yeah, we have Will of Arcana pitched to play a Voltic. 6, just a straight 6. Deals, minimum 3 here. Unless Chris has some shenanigans with Ward. Old school Voltic Bolt. Not even a Swell Tidings or one of those other cards that's just a better version of it. Just a straight up 6 shot. First thinking about this one. Yeah, pitching another blue. Sneaky Enigma tech. Taking 3. Sophia Arsenal going to 11. Yeah, so we're just going to pitch into this Mirage Metamorph, coming in for 7. Just a big number. Sophia blocking for 6, so it'll be taking a single point of damage here. See if Chris has anything instant speed to do. Feels like we're in a staring contest here between 2 heroes who can play instants. Chris deciding whether he wants to play a card or the risk of going empty-handed is just too much. Yeah, looks like we're going to transcend twice. Surprised to see the Rising Sun setting played second. Generally speaking, that's not the one you want. It is almost always better to transcend with the other one first. That way you can bottom the chi you find. And we have an Enigma activation. Taking a Spectral Shield with a +1 counter on it. Just gaining 1 life against Kano. Obviously, we can't arsenal this last card. It is a chi. If it goes into Arsenal, it is stuck there unless Kano buffs a destructive ether tide. And we're just going to draw. Comfortable knowledge that we at least have a blue in hand to block 3 damage. Sophia pitching said destructive ether tide, finding pop the bubble, sending a pop the bubble, coming in for a point. Now, I would imagine Chris is going to pitch for this. Pitching a blue covers this pop the bubble plus a waning moon. Yeah, we're just pitching one here. This command. And then we're going to play another energy potion. So Sophia's pretty set up to combo now. The more energy potions your Kano opponent has, the more they can dig through their deck when they're deciding to go off. So Chris knows he's not in a great spot. But it looks like we're going to start Spears of Surreality for 5 going. Using that tunic resource, not showing Sophia any. Sophia thinking about whether to take this yet, taking it down to 5. Going to want Chris to expend a couple of cards before she commits hard to anything. Yeah, and we're going to pitch the chi and send in another 5 go again. And now we are saying, well, either go off or don't. But you gotta go for it. Or you gotta block. Because this is. I think we're just explaining there the interaction between +1 counters and Iris. So we're going to block with Tunic. Which would give us more damage. And it looks like Chris is now to decide whether or not we're going for it. Because if we go for it here, Kano can just nuke us from orbit. But putting your Kano to 1, very famously, 1 is not 0. Chris obviously still with an action point. Sophia deciding whether or not she wants to go off here right now or wait another bit. It looks like she's just going to allow Chris to pass priority, go to the end of turn. Again, we didn't see Chris Arsenal, though. I wonder why. Now we're going to activate Kano, banishing a destructive ether tide. An overflow the ether well, sending it in for a single point of damage. If it deals more than its surge cost, Sophia would gain 2 resources. We're going to pitch the very famous titanium bauble from the man cardboard swords. And then we're going to activate Kano, revealing a Scour. Now, this is a card that has a lot of text in this match. Scour's ability to blow up token auras and 0-cost auras in general, very, very powerful. We're going to Scour. X equals 1. I imagine. Yeah. Blowing up the Spectre Shield and A being 1, and then sending in a Voltic Bolt to finish it off. Chris in a various position here because you've got 1 floating, so you can prevent at least 1. You can prevent up to 3 of this 5 damage coming in, but if you take 5 of it, you're at 18, which is not a huge life total against Kano, even if they're at 1. Yeah, so it looks like Chris is A being 1 at least. Yeah, going to 19. Pretty interesting. So I imagine he has a number of blues in hand here and is kind of ready for this next turn. And by sending it, we'll see whether Sophia has it or not. Chris obviously trying to play it super safe here because the one thing you can fear as someone playing into Kano is you play a thing and your Kano opponent says, with that on the stack, let me think. So we're just going to send for 2 resources an Enigma Chimera, an 8 damage, a 2 for 8. That's just a wounded bull, but better. Now Sophia needs to go into the tank, whether we can go off, whether we need to block out another turn, go later. But it looks like she is preparing to line up blocks. Is she going to line up blocks or is she going to YOLO it? Yeah, we're going to block 9 here with a Cindering Foresight, an Ether Quakening, and a Blazing Ether. That we know it was not the turn. So math being done here by Sophia, I would imagine. If your Kano opponent is ever starting to do math, you might be dead at any point. 19 isn't a lot of life to work with, but no, we're going to block 9. We've elected to block 9. Chris is going to move to Arsenal, I would imagine. And that will be the end of the turn. Yeah. Try and take a 5-card hand to the next turn. And we just have the. Oh no. 3 energy potions is about as good as you can hope for Kano. So that's just 2 extra Kano activation or any number of nodes activations that you might want. Chris taking up Tunic, Tunic at 2. I don't know if we'll see Tunic at 3 this game for Chris. There's 4 cards in hand, card in arsenal. Let's see what we have here. Going to start by pitching a blue, attack with Haze Bending, 4 go again. Obviously, there's not a lot Sophia can do about this because 4 is lethal, even with a breakpoint block. No matter what way you slice it, unless we have a sink below or 2 cards, this is going to be a lethal attack. It looks like we have a Kano activation, over pitch with 2 floating. With that on the stack, we're going to Ragamuffins. We're just going to respond by playing a grain that tips the scale and a homage to ancestors, so he's going to gain a life. and transcend twice. So with those on the stack, Sophia is going to crack an E-pot going up to 4 resources. And then we're going to Storm Striders. And then with those Storm Striders, we're going to play Ether Wildfire. So currently this is coming in for 4. If it deals any arcane damage, that'll get added on. There is a Metacarpus Nodes trigger. Chris currently with a card in hand, card in arsenal. It is a blue. So it looks like Sophia declined the Metacarpus trigger. So Ether Wildfire adding 1 point of damage to everything. So we have the Rag Balance. Rags resolves. Now our Kano activation is going to resolve, revealing Ether Flare. We're going to use a Deja Vu potion. Activate Kano. Revealing another Ether Flare. So both of these Ether Flares would be coming in 4. Right. Activate Energy Potion up to 3. Okay, Kano. Long pause, so I don't know if this is going to be the card exactly that Sophia needed. Considering Foresight, which isn't terrible, but it's not exactly great. We're going to opt 3, and our next source of arcane deals that much damage plus 1. But we're down to just the 2 resources now. Crack that Energy Potion to go up to 2. Use 1, send in Ether Flare for 4, which can be mostly covered by a blue. In fact, even better, we're going to play a Manifestation of Mergai, which is going to ward 4 and just consume this entire Ether Flare blast. And then we will Ether Flare for 4. And that will be the end of the game, and Enigma will walk with this one. Tough break for Sophia, just couldn't find the pieces that she needed. Chris had the blues when he needed them, and really that is what it's a lot of the time in these matchups. So can you get the damage through? Sometimes you just have to go for it when you're Kano, because if you don't, you're never going to get there. Congratulations, Chris. Welcome to another win in the league that is absolutely nothing. 3. Continuing your winning ways from last league. Tough break, Sophia, but I'm sure you'll get him in the next one. This can be quite a tough matchup. I hope you liked the video. If you did like the video, make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe, you tell Go Again Gaming how much you like the video, how much you love the league. That means absolutely nothing. How much it means to you personally. By subscribing, you'll get to see all of these televised games straight into your inbox on YouTube. For now, I've been the voice of the league, Ian. Findles_spirit on Twitter or findlespirit.bsky.social on Blue Sky, and I will see you in the next one.